Hi everyone, I'm Cathryn Cofell from Appleton, Wisconsin. I was originally scheduled to read in April for the Dickinson Poetry Reading Series that's held at the beautiful Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Door County in Ephraim. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, instead of me being face-to-face, we are face to iPhone, to YouTube, to your device, to hopefully you. I'm really excited to be asked to do this, and I hope you enjoy it. If you do like what you hear, be sure to give it a thumbs up or a comment, and be sure to let the coordinators of the Dickinson series know so they can consider whether doing this for other folks as well. So grab your favorite snacks and beverage and settle in for some poetry. I'm going to be reading for you today from my new book, which is called Stick Figure with Skirt. I'm honored that it received the 2019 Main Street Rag Poetry Book Award, and was hoping I could be there in person to share the book with you and a little bit about why it was created. So we'll give it a go this way instead. I'm recording today from my sunroom, which is turned into my son's room for music. He is a percussion performance major at UW-Stevens Point. Unfortunately, sent home to finish out the last semester of his sophomore year. So we kind of converted this room into his room, and I know you can't see a lot of it, but I thought I would start out with a poem that includes him a little bit in it, and a little bit about his music. It's called Chord Management. When your office is a piggly wiggly bag, headphones tangle with charger, tangle with hairbrush, in with pens and clips since the latter slipped from my corner office to carry on. Apple makes a pocket-sized computer, but a charger as thick as a cocaine brick, our insatiable need to power up. A mother who carries her baby in the womb endlessly powers up without plugging in. Old wives say an umbilical cord can wrap a baby's neck if the mother steps over a tangle of rope, which is nonsense. But still, my pregnant friend refused to walk her dog and keyed in Drano to predict her baby's sex by the color of the water, blue, meaning boy. Our boy came fully clothed, little blue pants and wool socks, matching blue cap, an umbilical grip on a sip cup, my own grip slick from this international labor of love, and 104 degrees in the shade. He was clearly overdressed and soaked with terror, but this, they said, was custom, a proper accord for first touch. Now this kid is 17 and hot for music, a 24/7 percussive click and chord, C to G, arpeggio to tone cluster, marimba to timpani to snare and back. He practices the art of perfect pitch, asks me to strike a note in my throat while he tries to find it with one touch. When he nails it, I vibrate from my core, meaning central part, as in the heart of an apple, the tether and seeds. So that's for you, Jack. There are a lot of poems in here about touch. The book is actually loosely based on the theme of work. I've been a working career woman for my whole life. I like to work. I'm pretty good at work. Work doesn't always like me and hasn't always been pretty good to me. So I decided to put together all the poems that have been inspired by this theme into one book. And I used to have to travel a lot for some of my earlier jobs, and I'm always been fascinated by all the no-touch things that are in an airport. And I thought this poem was kind of fitting for where we're at right now. And yeah, I hope you like it. It's called The Evolution of Touch. We could go back to Adam and the apple, the tomb of Achman, Thor, Excalibur, or the Eskimo kiss, Odysseus pining for Penelope, Joni loving Chachi. But this now, the de-evolution, motion-operated toilets, sinks, dryers, the airport x-ray wand, the e-ticket scan, or a flight with no jet engine, brother on the coast, connecting screen to screen, yap and kiss without lip to lip, or a car that responds to lip, call, Peter, mobile, or find fuel. No more finger on a yellow page, no distance measured on an unfolded map, even when destination, home, steers me wrongly to Oklahoma. Touch now is indexed, the new hokey pokey, our whole selves ottered, perpetually smudged. Touch now a rub of microfiber, compressed air in a can. Whole friendships compressed into likes and tweets and shares, and like John Travolta in The Boy in the Plastic Bubble, there can be no press of flesh without near certain death. There are also themes of death in this book, which seems kind of interesting for work, or maybe not if you've ever been in a job that you really don't like. But during the peak of the time that I was writing this book, we as a family were dealing with 3 really close family members and friends who were dying from cancer. And this book was inspired by spending a lot of time with one of them. It's called Brain Tumor as BFF. Like a Hello Kitty piñata, like Auntie M, like lead paint on a load-bearing wall. And that wall? I'm East Berlin, you, my West, this strong rise in us. I promise to rise each dusk and mirror your lips, your fogged reflection, your out and in and out and in you. That's me singing the wires, your Wichita lineman. But let's not croon on about wants versus needs. Let's stumble tongue talk. Let's droop eye drink. Let's make a kick in the pants pie, blackstrap and pokeweed. Let's make the best of this recipe of me times crown plus you equals a setting free others only estimate. Unfold those praying hands and hold me, hold me, hold me now, yes, with both hands. I promise to not let go, my radiant girl, my girl aglow. I included a couple of the poems about death and dying because, frankly, watching somebody die or being in the act of dying is a lot of work. And through this experience, I was angry a lot. So I wrote this next poem called Angry Flesh Cento. And if you don't know what a cento is, it's one of my favorite forms of poetry, and it's super easy. It's what I use a lot when I'm blocked and I can't get started writing. A cento is a found poem, actually. It's lines of poetry that I've basically stolen from other poets, and then I piece them all together into a poem of my own. And then there's a form that Susan Fear used that took it a step further that I just fell in love with, and that's changing a word in each line, picking one word, in this case the word is angry, and changing one word in each line to that word. I know that's a lot of convolutedness. I hope it makes sense when you hear it. It's meant to be fun, not necessarily make a lot of sense narratively, but emotionally, I hope you get it. Angry Flesh Cento. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the lines, most of the lines in this poem are taken from some very good friends of mine. I have the privilege of camping sort of a couple of times a year with some poet friends, and I always start out our weekend with writing a cento from the poems that they have read or brought. So this is for you poet campers out there. Angry Flesh Cento. In 1911, women jumped from the angry shirtwaist factory. Today, she falls angry a lot. She's done angry to that ankle at least 5 times. She's never heard angry sing so poorly, angry leaking from her nose. Disclaimer, she may have read the Spanish angry, scratched the forecast into angry. She's got a nap for angry. Honey, I'm sick of doing your angry. At the state of life when I don't give a rat's angry. Ecru, the color of angry skin, or a cruise from angry to Ecuador. Got so sick I couldn't angry. Reverse direction so I'd never be angry, even if the anger's already in the room. Theme from a painting. Angry faces two women knocking. I like this angry. His voice, I mean. Jazz angry. Like being kissed by angry. Oh, sweet, irrational angry. Oh, angry, we love you. Get up. What rhymes with God angry? Angry stops, so nothing else can rise. And I told you it was weird. That's a little weird. Next poem I'm going to read is the title poem of the book, Stick Figure with Skirt. And this one, it's pretty much self-explanatory, so I guess I'll just read it. Stick figure with skirt is the universal sign for the women's restroom, unless you are in Hawaii or a cowboy bar. Stick figure with skirt is the universal symbol of fashion, aka allure, aka Kate Moss. Stick figure with skirt holding hands with other stick figures is the universal minivan mom, making sure we know she is loved by her stick figure family. See? They are all stick smiling. Stick figure with skirt is not available on stickfiguregames.com. No zombie shooter, no sniper assassin, no stick girls allowed. Even at girlgames.com, the stick chicks are naked or suicidal. Stick figure in pencil, skirt, and heels is the universal sign for career woman, but notice she has no mouth, no eyes, no opposable thumbs on her two stick hands. Beneath that stick figure is skirt is slip. Beneath that slip, Spanx. Beneath Spanx, two bare sticks like scissors, forever cutting her flesh into smaller sticks and smaller still until she is kindling. Toothpick, the universal sign of beauty. I have a lot of poems in here about zombies too. So clearly there's some relationship for me between zombies and work. You'll have to figure that one out for yourself. This one is called The Zombie Speaks, and it starts with an epigraph from Casey and the Sunshine Band that goes, I am your boogeyman, that's what I am. For the first time in my life, looks don't matter, and my purpose is clear. The judge in me has turned her verdict outward. There are no words for this. Both times I came into this world through blood, into an insatiable hunger, an instinct to survive, a reflex response to touch. Both times, a tiny magic. It's that dream of fleeing, but the haul gets longer and the body is quicksand, the invisible weight, the invisible monster looming. I try not to fixate on the mortal wound, the 9-to-5 trudge, seek only to live authentically here and now, one of the twin souls hungry. Let me see. For Mother's Day, I thought that I would read this poem. And being a career woman and a mother can sometimes be challenging. I can't even imagine the moms now who have kids who are school age, who need to be helped with their schoolwork. It just baffles me. And I always imagined, when things were at their worst, what it would be like if I just fled, if I just left. So I wrote this poem sort of as a little fantasy poem. It's called This Way. Listen. There was a river of mothers leaving the city this morning. While the rest of you were asleep, they were slipping away, a swish of whisper and cotton. And one of them was shaking like a wet dog. And did I mention they were smiling? Listen, I need to tell you that I tried to stop them, but their leaving ran deep, like they were following some Pied Piper, only there was no music, unless you call thousands of beaming faces music. Just my nagging, wait, wait, and the accomplice sun crouched dark to aid in their escape. Listen, have I told you how as children we gave our mothers nothing but construction paper and grief, calls from the principal, broccoli spit out of napkins and welted brothers crying? Though this day will rise full with their empty, is it any wonder they lasted this long? Listen, this is the way the world will end unless you can find them, unless you can herd them back and barter for their stay. I need to tell you, this is the way. Come quickly, this way. So luckily I stayed put. I wanted to also read a poem in the book about another mother. During all of the cancer issues that we were experiencing, a few months after all of this, my mother-in-law got very sick and she died about 6 months later, maybe about a year later. And if you've ever been with somebody toward the end, we were taking turns watching her, being there with her, not knowing exactly when she would be gone from this world. And this is a poem that came out of that experience. Minutes after your mother's death. It was me on the phone, and all sound was, dare I say, dead. Her skin was fresh snow, her body relaxed after the roller coaster of morphine and moan. I hadn't meant to miss it, my whole reason for being. She was just here, I whispered as the nurse checked again, her pulse. Dying people intended this, she said, her stethoscope bunched in one hand like a leash released of its hound. Or was it me, released of this work space I had fashioned, what with me always so busy and you so done with being her anchor and always and some days snapping in reply to a broken remote or her desire for just one cookie, shortbread? Wouldn't that be delicious now? A little something sweet. So, last poem. Since this is at the UU, I am a Unitarian. I thought I'd read something a little bit more spiritual, but also maybe not so spiritual. This is called Reiki Master, a Breakup. Begins instead with a breakdown of determination, communication. I lie face down and nearly naked as she is hands to face and sniffling. She is as psychic as she claims, since I haven't yet said we are done. But her boyfriend has told her he's done, as she keens the lavender of flute song, as she currents the steel well of me. I'm losing it, she says, and now I know the trick of the Mayan Alush, that I can never leave her. I tell her to lie down, breathe deep as I massage the air around her until she drifts toward sleep, and I slip out settled and not one touch between. Thank you. Thanks for joining me. If you're still here, I really thank you. And again, if you like what you heard, be sure to like or comment. You can also order the book if you're interested. You can go directly to the publisher, Main Street Rag, at mainstreetrag.com, or visit my website at cathryncofell.com. You can private message me there, and we can arrange a book. And if you're in the Appleton area, maybe I'll deliver it in person. Read poetry, buy poetry. It fills the soul, and it's so needed at this unbelievable time. Thank you.